Ladies and gentlemen, we have some exciting news for Rezolve AI. Now, Rezolve is down about 5% today, but it is generally a risk-off day today for a lot of areas of our markets. Now, some areas that were down a lot yesterday are going up today, so there's been a bit of a rotation in the past couple of days. Now, Rezolve selling off today, but there's big news. Rezolve actually bought another company, which, again, this is good and bad, and I'll talk about what I mean by that in today's episode. But you need to remember the S&P's down 0.3%, NASDAQ down 0.3%, IWM's down about 0.5%. Okay, it is generally a risk-off day today. Rezolve is, I mean, there's other stocks that are down a lot more than Rezolve, so you can pick and choose, blah blah blah. But we do have exciting news for people that have like a 2026 mindset for this company, and I'll explain that in just a moment. First things first, before we get into that, hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to come trade with us, come get involved in the community, check that link out down below in the description of today's episode. Yes, I have a lot of money in Rezolve, but there's a ton of other opportunities in this market as well. I just think Rezolve is one of the best opportunities, okay? But there's a lot of others, and we're going out finding these under the radar stocks in energy, gene editing, biopharma, quantum, AI, software, robotics, these main themes for the next decade plus, and investing in them. Okay, we're throwing out seeds, as I like to call it, you know, $1,000 here, $2,000 here, $3,000 here, and positions that, or companies that I see as, you know, really good opportunities. We're putting tens of thousands of dollars to work in those stocks. I think I bought 5 new stocks in just the last 2 days. There's a ton of opportunities. We are killing it. Portfolio is up over 200% year to date. And even as Rezolve has come down, our portfolio is pretty much at all-time highs because of those other stocks that have been able to carry the weight while Rezolve takes a little bit of a breather. If you guys want to come join that, check the link out down below in the description of today's episode. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial planner. You are subject to lose money if you're a jackass, right? Don't put your 401k money into these stocks. Don't bet your house on these stocks. Like, those are jackass moves, okay? Don't do that. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a financial, planner, right? Come to your own conclusions and contact a financial advisor before making an investment decision. That is very important. I can be as bullish as I want about a company. You know, if I'm putting money that I can afford to lose, that's one thing. I'm not betting my house on Rezolve or any other stock. And that's important to put out there. Like, if you're doing that reckless behavior, you might get away with it for a little while, but eventually you will get burned. Don't be a jackass. But with that said, let's get into your Rezolve breaking news today. Okay, so Dan Wagner, Rezolve CEO, posted this at 8:10 a.m. this morning. He says, thrilled to announce that Rezolve AI has acquired Squid, building the data and payments backbone for the AI economy. Squid's decentralized data lake powers real-time on-chain intelligence, now fueling Rezolve's vision for agentic commerce at a global scale. Squid.AI on X, which I will mention, this account has 183.8 thousand followers. It is a pretty well-known platform. I actually didn't know about it before today, so I'm a little green to what all of this means, to be 100% honest with you. But they post that Rezolve AI has acquired Squid. We're fusing the decentralized data lake with enterprise AI and digital asset payments, the backbone for agentic commerce. Live scale today, 2,500 plus nodes, 2.1 PB indexed, and 5 million queries per day. Squid continues to power the network and utility. So I understand that it's data. It's a lot of data. And people seem to be quite positive on this. Okay? People are calling it huge. People are saying congratulations. People are saying fantastic move. SQD plus Rezolve AI equals game changer. Again, people think it's good. Now, it says here, Rezolve AI is proud to announce our acquisition of SQD Squid, a decentralized blockchain data platform whose token currently trading as SQD on major exchanges, including Coinbase, Binance, and Crypto.com, will be rebranded in due course following regulatory and exchange approvals and will be acquired annually into a Rezolve AI treasury. The acquisition will unite blockchain data science, decentralized data lakes, and digital asset payment rails into a single intelligent commerce infrastructure. AI is only as powerful as the data it runs on, and Hello SQD makes blockchain data accessible, searchable, and usable at scale. So this really does fit into what Rezolve is trying to do. As we know, Rezolve is not only focusing on the AI commerce area, but they believe that crypto is likely the next commerce, exchange, right? Or exchange medium, where essentially Rezolve is trying to make it so you can have a Rezolve wallet and a card, let's say. You could go into Starbucks, tap to pay your card with your Rezolve card or whatever, and pay in crypto, and it's going to instantly settle for Starbucks. It's going to instantly settle for you, and Rezolve is doing all of the back end work. They're collecting a fee, and boom, done. Okay? That's what Rezolve is trying to do. They have partnerships with Tether. They now have SQD, which is a lot of data, blockchain technology behind it, and I believe it fuses into the retail side as well. I think there's data there that can be useful for that, not just from a crypto perspective. But again, if you guys have a little bit more knowledge behind SQD, let me know down below in the comment section. Mario here, one of your most well-known guys that covers news on X, says AI meets blockchain. Rezolve takes over Squid, a rare thing in crypto, an actual acquisition, not just a hype cycle. Rezolve, the Nasdaq-listed AI firm, is taking over Squid in a move that signals the industry might finally be maturing. The Squid token will be renamed RZAI. Rezolve plans to buy back tokens equal to at least 1% of its annual revenue. So, call it corporate strategy meets crypto ideology. So, yeah, that's part of it as well. If Rezolve does, $500 million in revenue, Rezolve plans to put $5 million into this coin, which currently Squid is up 33% in the past day with a market cap of about $204 million. Now, I would be interested to hear, if they could somehow raise money in the crypto market, if that could maybe, instead of diluting shareholders, maybe somehow they raise money in the crypto market and not have to do as much dilution to the stock. I don't know. Again, not an expert when it comes to this. So let me know if you have any clarifications down below in the comment section. Now, this is giving us a little bit more to go off of. Squid.AI is an enterprise-grade AI agent platform that enables organizations to build, deploy, and scale secure private AI agents powered by large language models to automate complex workflows, query vast datasets in natural language, and integrate with existing business systems without costly migrations or integrations. The platform specializes in agentic AI flows, offering turnkey solutions across domains like sales operations, clinical data analysis, and software development, helping companies achieve rapid ROI by reducing manual tasks, operational costs, and development timelines. Key products and services. AI agent platform, a core tool for creating custom AI agents that handle tasks such as real-time data, querying, workflow automation, and domain-specific applications. Proof of concept development, quick start services to prototype and launch use cases in 2 to 4 days, supported by a team of experts, including Google veterans. Consult and customization, tailored guidance for integrating agents into specific business needs with options for secure, compliant deployments. It says notable features: speed and efficiency, delivers functional AI agents in days rather than months, with examples including 60 to 90% reductions in manual update times and operational cost. It says SO2 compliant with full enterprise controls, trusted by Fortune 500 companies for handling sensitive data privately. It says flexibility, adapts to legacy systems, supports real-time integrations, and boosts outcomes like customer satisfaction by up to 60%. So there is, this fits perfectly into what Rezolve is doing. Now, do you want to know the bad news? The bad news is that Rezolve has bought, in just the last 48 hours, SmartPay, and now Squid.AI. Okay. While these acquisitions look necessary and look like they are right in Rezolve's, wheelhouse, that it's something that's going to add to their business, the company just reported earnings that they had $250 million in cash, roughly. How much did these acquisitions cost? Okay. I imagine SmartPay was probably like 50 to 75 million. I imagine Squid was probably 100 to 150 million. Something like that. That means that they might only have 50 million in cash left, or 75 million in cash left. So what does that mean? That doesn't sound good for dilution. Now, we're probably not going to get dilution anytime soon, but that's Wall Street's worry, is they're spending so much in these acquisitions that all Wall Street cares about in the short term is, are we going to get another round of dilution anytime soon? Now, the answer to that is probably no. The earliest we probably get dilution is some point in 2026. But it raises the concern, because we obviously do not have disclosures on what it cost to buy these companies. Okay, so while long term you can see these acquisitions as important and critical, in the short term you look at this and say, damn, Rezolve is unprofitable. They're spending their cash to acquire these companies. Does that set us up for another round of dilution? Okay, that's some of the nervousness that could come out of this. Now, again, Rezolve is down 5% today, largely because it's just not a great day for certain areas of our markets. But this is also something else that is adding a little bit of nervousness. Now, if you are somebody that sees the vision for this company into 2026, then you look at these acquisitions as good news, as buying up these assets likely for cheap. Okay, like if Squid.AI were to have went public, they would have had likely a much higher valuation than $100 million, right? Like, they're buying these assets for good prices. But again, the short-term concern is, what about dilution? Now, it looks like today about 1.71 million shares are being covered on, which is quite a bit. So it would suggest to me that institutions are looking at some of these acquisitions as a positive for the company, that some of the short sellers are saying, yeah, we have these positive acquisitions. It doesn't mean that we're going to see dilution anytime soon, because we don't know what price they paid for these companies. Now, short interest of free float is sitting at 7.5%, which is not high for a company like Rezolve that has went up so much so quickly. So take that into consideration. If Wall Street was really bearish on Rezolve, the short interest would be a lot higher Okay, and it's just not. Now, you do have 100% utilization. As I've talked about before, a lot of the stock is bought and held by long institutions that have just started to buy, insiders in the company, early adopters in retail. There's not a lot of the float that is just freely trading out there. That's why you have 100% utilization. So really, you have 7% short interest. 7.5% is the live estimate. It could be double or triple that in all reality, because there's not a lot of shares that are just freely trading on any given day. Keep that in mind. Now, as I've talked about recently as well, from a technical perspective, you did have an inverse head and shoulders. You're starting to break down a little bit. You really want to find some support soon. If not, you start to really break into the middle range of the neckline, which would not be great. That could set you on a path back to the low 500s. Now, I don't see a breakdown coming. We just had earnings. We just had dilution. Unless we get another round of dilution, sometime soon, I don't see a large decline coming for the stock. In fact, as I talked about in the previous video, Rezolve is cheaper today than it was when I bought the stock. When I bought the stock, you were trading at about a 10 times price to sales, and for next year, you're trading at like 4 to 5 price to sales. Roughly, like 4 times price to sales. A little bit less than that after today. It's like 3.8, okay? You're trading potentially almost 3 times cheaper today than when I bought the stock. I think it's only a matter of time before this thing makes a large move to the upside. Now, over on StockTwits, the sentiment is bearish at 43. Message volume is low at 43. And the participation ratio is high at 59. Again, one of the big things when it comes to Rezolve is you don't have a lot of attention on the stock. There's not a lot of people that know about this company. It's flying under the radar, okay? There's only 10,000 watchers on StockTwits, for an example. You need a catalyst. You need something to get the stock Main Street attention. And you just haven't got that yet. Once you do get that, the stock will react explosively. Now, as far as my position in the company, I have not changed it. As I've talked about before, I am interested heavily in buying the stock in the $4 range, assuming we don't get, any more dilution, like unnecessarily, okay? Dilution between now and the beginning of 2026 would be crazy to me, okay? Really, until like mid-year 2026, I would kind of scratch my head like, yes, they're doing these acquisitions for the long term, but you would really have to explain another round of dilution, right? You'd have to really make that make sense to me. And I just don't know if they could, right? So that's a risk. That would be something that would maybe change my opinion on the company, because that's just a little aggressive. I get it. When you're listed on the markets, the whole idea of being a publicly traded company is to raise capital to grow the business. But if you don't explain the capital raise, if you don't explain you got to do a little bit of explaining if you raise $200 million, buy a bunch of companies, and then raise capital right after. Like, I think that looks really bad. I don't think that's the game plan here for Rezolve. But again, you could see why some on Wall Street could be nervous for that. Currently, I have a market value of $82,530, down $4,830 today, down about 5.5%. Total return, up $41,029, up 98.86%. Average cost, $2.96 on 14,000 shares, okay? The portfolio diversity has come down a little bit. It's a 47.5%. It's still a heavily weighted position in this portfolio. But again, in the trading group, we've had a lot of other stocks that have done well, right? So it's kind of offset some of the recent decline in Rezolve. So the portfolio actually is doing just fine with Rezolve even coming down. So come join that if you would like to. Link down below in the description of today's episode. But in this portfolio, I have $70,717 in the stock. Unrealized return, $35,117, up 98.5%. Invested for 111 days. Average cost basis, $2.97 a share. And again, 49.77% of this portfolio. Same deal. The portfolio weighting is actually dropping as other stocks have done well and as Rezolve has come down a little bit. I should also mention in this portfolio, I still have the options, the 15 to $2.50 calls, expiring February 20th, 2026. Value at about $5,400. Total return 240%, or up $3,800 roughly. So when you add all of this together, position has not changed. Oops, I don't know why the calculator was froze like that. Currently have 29,800 shares worth of exposure. The stock is at $5.89. I currently have $175,522 invested in the company. So, you know, I'm a believer in what they're doing. But if you're not, make your own decision. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial planner. Come to your own conclusions. I will point out the stock was actually green in pre-market after the news that they bought SQD or bought Squid.AI, right? The stock was actually up about 1% after the news. The stock was down 1%. After the news, it shot up positive 1%. So I think a lot of the selling today is probably just related to nervousness in the broader markets, the weakness that you're seeing in the broader markets. I don't even think it has anything to do with Squid.AI, you know, just looking at it like that. You were actually up upon the announcement of Rezolve buying Squid.AI, because Rezolve actually announced that at like 8:10 in the morning today. Dan Wagner did, at least. Yeah, 8:10 a.m. If you actually look at the chart, 8:10 a.m. the stock was 8:05. The stock was down 1%. 8:10 the stock was up 1%. And then held those levels until 9:30 when markets opened, and the stock started to sell off a bit. Again, broader market weakness. So let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.